Changing, modifying, updating systems in a business can be very challenging, especially when it comes to changing your financial systems. In this week's video, I'm going to outline 6 things to take on board if you're going to have a successful implementation of a financial system, whether it's changing to a new one or whether it's introducing one for the first time. Hi folks, my name is Mahmood. I'm a business finance coach and author of the book, I Hate Numbers. And for the last 28 plus years, I've been helping business owners like yourself make more money. Who doesn't want that? Increase your financial literacy and understanding. Nobody wants to turn you into an accountant, by the way, but you need good understanding. Reduce your stress, reduce your anxiety, have the business that you desire to have. Who wouldn't want that for their business? Let's crack on with the video. Now, one of the first things we need to consider is to review and understand the systems we have in place already. Find out where we can streamline things, any obstacles, any bottlenecks that we might have, any problems, any challenges, any information that we're not able to extract. What is it that's going on at the moment? What can we streamline? What can we improve? What are we looking for in a new system? Having identified the current system, and make sure, by the way, that you involve as many people as possible that are going to be users involved in that process. Please do not leave it just the accounting team. God bless accountants here, but they aren't the only input into a financial system. If you don't get user engagement with that, you're going to end up with something that's not necessarily going to be useful for all. Number 2, make sure you communicate what's going on and involve all the requisite stakeholders from employees, the senior management team, and investors. Once people are aware of what's going on, they're more likely to be comfortable and embrace the situation that's occurring. What's the third thing we need to do? Once we've understood what we need to achieve, what we would like, make sure we've got a plan. And don't you just love that idea of planning? Now, the plan has got to factor in things like timelines. Over what period of time is this implementation going to take place? Is there something that's got to be done at the very beginning, the critical things, and then we build it up accordingly? So make sure we've got a timeline that we can work to. Make sure we've got adequate level of resources for the implementation, the preparation, and the ongoing maintenance of the financial system. Resources are needed not just for the physical implementation and the resources that are required there, but for the training and development of staff to make sure they're comfortable with the outputs and the inputs of our new financial system. Now, fourth thing to remember is resistance is very likely with anything that's new. All of us as human beings tend not to be too comfortable with change. We're not quite sure what that means for our own livelihoods, our own job security. What does that mean? Are we going to have the requisite skills to actually understand what comes out? We may be quite used to familiar with something here, and change, it can be quite daunting. So again, engagement, communication, participation are good ways to cut down that resistance. Take people on the journey with you, and you're more likely to have people embrace and understand and contribute as opposed to resisting. Resisting will potentially derail the system. Now, the fifth thing we need to have is we need to have buy-in from our senior management team. I've seen far too many projects come asunder, fall, collapse, because senior managers haven't necessarily embraced the new systems, don't like the new systems, won't be using those new systems. So make sure your senior management team, and make sure others have got buy-in, and make sure they're aware of what's going on and they're encouraged to participate to the development of those financial systems. What's the last thing we need to do? Now, we can have an idea what we want to develop as a financial system, but it's important that we monitor, adapt, and we don't become too rigid in our thinking. There may be things that we planned that we think are going to be very successful, but when it comes to implementation, when it comes to usage, we find they're too problematic. So be prepared, as long as it doesn't derail from our objectives, to adapt, to modify. Set some milestones, set some KPIs to monitor the progress as we go through. And progress, remember, is ongoing. Refinements may happen, feedback will come in. We need to adapt to make sure we've got a financial system that's fit for purpose. In next week's video, by the way, folks, I'm going to be looking at the composition of the reports that comes off the other side. But until next week, think about your financial systems, Think about the changes. Think about what you want. Communication, participation is the name of the game. Until next week, I'll see you on the other side.